I've got two of the biggest CEOs in the real estate investing space. I've got Jesse Burrell of Batch Data and Brian Tepfer of PropStream. And PropStream actually just paid multiple 8 figures to acquire Batch. And we're going to talk about that acquisition, what is happening from it, why they did it. What's up, guys?
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah. So, Jesse, I mean, I think you were on the podcast a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the business and the market, and you guys finally sold.
Yeah.
This week, and PropStream was the buyer, which kind of makes sense with you guys are in similar things, and I'm just curious why this deal came together. So,
I've told this story a lot. I'd like to hear your version this time.
Oh, my version. I think your version and my version are very similar. I like to go back to the beginning. So last year, I think it was October timeframe, his partner Evo reached out because they were interested in selling the batch data side of the, like they're selling us data, skip tracing data, because I know that's one of their objectives is to be a more B2B market. And as we were talking, we floated an idea about acquisition or just, seeing what their future is as they're going into the space. And I think Jesse and I connected maybe a week or two later, and jokingly we said, would you be interested in selling or buying? And you're like, yeah, let's have a conversation. And it just sort of evolved from that point. I think what really, in my mind, and we said this before, that really put the nail on the head with why it was so important to do an acquisition or what the value was, is as we were looking at batch data and the skip tracing, the conversation really was like, if we're going to do this, do we not disclose that we are using batch skip tracing? Because is that a problem? Do we not lose a competitive advantage? And he was saying the same thing, like we might not want to disclose it because we might have people that would leave leads and come back to PropStream or vice versa. And then as we started like maturating on the thought, it was like, well, why, if we're going to hide why we're doing it, maybe there's a bigger reason why we should come together, because that's actually the power of the platform. That's the power of their skip tracing, their lead platform, is the name, the value recognition, the brand equity, what they've accomplished, their user base. And why would we want to shield that from our users? Why not just come together as one company?
Yeah. And I guess for you, Batch has seen lots of iterations over the years, right? I mean, if I recall correctly, since we all came up kind of around the same time, you guys were like just batch skip tracing.
Yep, that's where it started.
And then there was leads, and there's dialer, now there's data. Like, I personally still don't even know the difference between this and like what exactly was sold and, all this.
Yeah. So as Brian kind of said, I really was pitching to him on how, he's buying data and skip tracing somewhere. Why not let it be the best and ours? And, we would have to disclose like, hey, people can't talk about this because we could both use that to a benefit for our own companies. And I jokingly said to him, half jokingly, was, dude, I'd sell you BatchLeads and Dialer. He's like, would you? I'm like, huh. Because
BatchLeads is your consumer company to sell that data.
Yep.
And if you knew PropStream was using your data, you could be like, well, why use PropStream? Just come over here.
Yep, and vice versa, the same thing. Well, we're using similar blah, blah, blah. And that's why Brian really was like...
You guys could cannibalize each other in
correct.
a way, too.
Yep. And so with the leads and dialer side of things is it's just... And the further we dug in is like we do some things really well that they didn't do very well. And some of the things that they do really well, we didn't do very well. And that's why me and Brian kind of started like being like, oh, and then just signaling to the market what this is going to be, what this app could look like. And I mean, it's going to be really tough for anyone else to compete with that lead generation side for I know what's to come on the product roadmap. And that's probably something we could talk about. But so we sold 100% of Batch Leads and Batch Dialer to PropStream. And then me and Annie and Evo still own 100% of Batch Data and Batch Skip Tracing. But Batch Skip Tracing we're currently rolling into Batch Data. So like if people want to just go skip trace, they could do it there. But Batch Data is really our B2B offering where we could power other software solutions like a PropStream to some degree, or we do work with InvestorLift as well. And we're really fueling the back ends with some data and contact information and some other things as well.
I see. So, like, when you guys looked at it from PropStream's perspective, you guys were probably number 1 and 2 in this space, right? And so now you basically consolidate all the users. Like, what is the plan? Like, are you going to keep batch leads and, they're just 2 separate things and, like, they get customers and everything else? Or is it going to consolidate? Like, have you thought about that?
I have. Over time, it will consolidate. I really want to take the best of batch leads and put it into PropStream to make a super app. And really, I want to honor everything that they've built because they've built some amazing tools and I love their technology. And so I don't want to see that go away. I want to see us kind of double down on what they've developed, what their team has done, and bring it all together. Because what we're really looking for is that all-in-one solution that could meet our customers' needs end to end. And the other big piece of that was the dialer. That was something that we didn't have. And so when we looked at what was our biggest advantage, we were looking at that anyway. And so it's that buy versus build scenario. How much does it cost to build a competing product? How many years does it take? How much does it cost? And then even if it took a year or 2 years, any other product out there, Batch Dialer, is going to already be ahead of us from the time we release.
Right.
And then there's the customer base. And so when you really evaluate how powerful it is just to say, let's come together as partners, it's the more we talked about it, the more sense it started to make. And that's when we brought it over to Stewart and we said, this is how we grow. This is how we become the all-in-one solution. And this is really how we dominate the marketplace and provide the best to our customers.
So let's talk about that because Stewart Title bought PropStream in I was looking this up. They bought it in 2021 for like $175 million.
Yep.
And you weren't with PropStream then. You came on to run the company after the acquisition. And you guys been doing your thing for the last bunch of years. And is this your guys' first major acquisition?
As PropStream, yes.
As PropStream,
Yep.
okay. I guess talk to me about the perspective of like what Stewart was trying to do when they first acquired PropStream, why you came in, and then, why now this?
I know that one of the Stewart's objectives was to really get more in the front end of the transaction. And they really wanted to take a technology company that they could build and grow. And a title, as most real estate professionals know, that's like the last thing you do, one of the last things you check. And so to be able to get in front of the transaction was really important to grow their ecosystem. One of the reasons I came on board was after the founders, Robin and Dahl, stepped down. After that year, I think they were ready to move on and do a new venture. I've been in the prop tech space for over 20 years at that point. And so I've helped build online MLS systems, association management. I've had 2 decades experience in the real estate world, dealing with agents, technology, associations, really the umbrella of real estate professional. And so taking a SaaS product similar, but more real estate focused or realtor focused, was really kind of a natural fit to kind of move into this role.
Okay, so you were working for 20 years on the realtor tech side.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then they found you, said, hey, we want you to work with wholesalers now. How was that transition?
It was a bit of a learning curve to see how different professionals interact in real estate. Wholesaling, investing, and traditional realtors do it very differently.
Yeah.
But the thing that I've actually come to learn and appreciate, and this I really changed after COVID and the interest rates started increasing, transactions went down 20%, was more traditional realtors were leaning on wholesalers and investors to keep their business and their transactions up.
Right.
And I think there's been more camaraderie and more connections between various groups of real estate transactions since the interest rates have really bumped up. I mean, God, they're not at historic highs, but they're the highest they've been in
A long time.
20 years.
20 years.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting, right? Because I think PropStream sold at like the peak of the real estate market, valuations for companies and all these things. And, after it sold, we went into like the worst real estate market that we've seen in, decades, really, since the Great Recession. And I'm curious what you both feel like the market is going to do these, I guess the rest of this year, the next couple of years, and how you're using that for the business.
I look at this opportunity. So when you have a market like this where it's down 20%, I mean, I think the average transactions have been 5 million a year. They're down to about 4 million a year. That's a lot of
When you say
volume.
down 20%, you're talking just
Transaction volume.
Yep.
But I do think that provides more opportunity for realtors and wholesalers and investors to really be more reliant on tools like PropStream and Batch, because that's how they're finding deals. They're not, this isn't 2020. This isn't when interest rates were at 2%, 3%. You are actually having to actively look for transactions, to actively having to look for leads, to look for investment deals, to look for wholesaling deals. They're not coming to you anymore like they were 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You're actually having to utilize the tools that are available to, to do your job, to make those sales, to make those transactions.
Yeah, what I've noticed personally since
Yeah, I mean, you're a coach. So.
Yeah, I've coached thousands and thousands of people, and I bought from wholesalers, and we wholesale. And my personal subjective, with no data to prove this, is that to your point, there are less people just presenting deals as wholesalers like right now. Like I remember during the peak, it's like, man, me as a buyer, I got deals being sent to me every freaking day, and it's like, all right, cool. Like there's lots of deals happening, and then now. It's not that deals don't happen. Like you said, deals do happen. But I think like if I was a flipper only, which I'm not, I would have to start using tools to go find these sellers now.
Yep.
Right.
Like it's not the amount of realtors and wholesalers bringing me deals is significantly less than before.
Yeah.
Like I have to learn to essentially be a wholesaler.
Just go direct to seller, I would say.
Exactly. And I call that personally just wholesaling. You're going direct to seller, whatever you choose to do, is up to you.
Yeah. I'd say I think it looks like the interest rates are going to start to tick down. So I think it's going to, short term, I think there's going to be some more transactions going on. But I'm kind of in a similar boat to what you guys are. I think from what I've seen and all the people I've talked to, there's still a lot of transactions being done.
Yeah.
It's just, you can't just hop in to wholesaling and get your first deal and sell it to a hedge fund like you could 3 years ago.
Right.
Like you have to put the work in, you have to have the right tools, you have to use something like a Batch or PropStream or something like the program that you offer to where there is Facebook leads or these leads and PPC leads still work great. Like there's still all the deals. It's just not simple to get your first couple now, and you actually have to learn. You have to learn how to comp. You have to learn how to talk to sellers properly. I just think the barrier to entry is a little bit more difficult. Like kind of when we started in 20, and there's a lot less tools, but it was the same type of thing. Is it wasn't just easy to go get your first couple deals.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of similar to that, to where it's like, I think you want to come in, you want to do it, you could do great, and you can make a lot of money. It's just if you're not disciplined and not really trying to learn the business, you're not just going to be able to call 200 homeowners, have someone interested, lock it up at retail, and go sell it to a hedge fund for 10% more.
Right.
Those days are gone. That was a little window of craziness, and
It was so good.
that's literally right when we stopped too. Is like
Yeah.
April of 2020, and then I see all of you guys just printing money on the flips and the
it was
wholesales. But
great.
we also did fantastic during that time on.
Well, you built a great business during that time.
Exactly,
That paid off significantly.
for sure.
So, no, I agree. I think, I started flipping in 2015. And so I actually do think it's very similar to back then where it's like, dude, you got to actually work to get deals. And, you got to work to find buyers. You got to do a good job on your flip. I remember back in 2020 to 2022, bro, we didn't have to do nothing to flips because we're going to have 30 offers and they're all bidding over list. And you're like, all right, waive your contingencies. Like, we ain't taking nothing. And then they don't have a choice. Right. We were talking about that with watches and cars too. Like, it was just crazy for any market.
Right.
Yeah, everything was a 20-30% premium.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, from this standpoint now, I guess like Jesse, for you, like what's the next step, right? Because you guys have sold the company now, which is essentially the B2C side.
Yep.
And I imagine, Brian, now are you in full control now? Like you're just taking over and doing your thing?
Yep.
Okay.
And we have Jesse and his team for 6 months to help us through the transition and make sure that their vision, their roadmaps, the things that they were already working on continue. So we're really interested in continuity.
Yeah.
Really to making sure that their team feels good, that they're comfortable. They had a great roadmap ahead of them, a great vision, and we don't want to lose that.
Yeah.
And so for the next few months, they're definitely going to help shepherd us through what they were already planning.
Right. And then you're going to focus on the B2B side with Batch Data.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're a partner and a customer of ours now, to important customer as well, to where, and me and him through these last 8 months have became very close. And I'm very much invested to make sure that, this transaction on that side goes smoothly, and not just, it's 6 months, and there could be additional 6 months potentially as well. So I call it, this next year, but even after that, this is, I was able to build something. I have a lot of people that I've spent a lot of time that are going over there. My sister included is a part of the PropStream team now. And I'm going to do everything I can to support them long term, because I know what type of person you are, what type of team they have. And ultimately, it's really just going to, why I knew it was the right fit is like, we're both just so focused on, we have products that help customers change their lives. And like, I've always said that, and he said that to me, like with kind of their vision casting. And I know the type of product that we're going to be able to build with this merger, and it's just going to help the whole entire community get more deals at the end of the day. And that's what excites me, honestly.
Yeah. So this is actually a good point, because I've thought about this a lot with my own business, and you hear it as one of the main risks with selling any business is Keyman risk.
Yep.
So how did you guys evaluate Keyman risk of like, okay, I guess batch is a little bit different in that, it is mainly data and software. So like having a face isn't as like crazy as maybe other businesses. But, Jesse, I would say, is the face for all these years. And, he's going to be leaving and focused on, other things. Like, how did you guys look at that from a transition standpoint, or from like evaluating that risk?
I would say, to Jesse's immense credit, from the day this transaction closed and probably beforehand, he was already thinking, how do I get you in touch with the people that I know to do these types of podcasts, to make friends, to make connections. And from day one, he's not only been true to his word, like we met with people, right after we announced. And so I think that that's really one of the biggest values, and why we wanted to make sure that we have that continuity, like I said, for 6 months to 12 months. Because it is really important. You don't want to have the founders of a business just disappear overnight. It doesn't feel good for the staff. It doesn't feel good for your partners. It doesn't feel good for your customers. And continuity is one of the most important things that happens in any transaction.
Yeah.
Because you're, especially the people that make your business are your employees. The people that fund
100%.
your business are your customers.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to make sure that they are both happy, and that they both feel like there is a future. Innovation continues. I've been reading threads online. I know, people are wondering what's going to happen. Well, we're going to continue innovating. We're more doubling down on what we're doing, and doubling down on creating better products, creating better services for our customers. That's really, I think, the most important piece.
Yeah, I mean, can't announce any of those things, but behind the scenes, what we were talking about earlier, he had some really good ideas of integrating some stuff into PropStream that no one else in this industry can do, with the partnership they have with Stewart. So I'm really excited to see what comes on all of it, to be honest.
How is it with, customers are one thing, like, they'll, obviously they're important, but I think about the staff. You guys have like 90 employees, and some of them have been with you for a long time. You mentioned your sister is pretty high up, and all of a sudden, they're going to be integrated into this new culture of prop. You're going to blend two families.
Yeah, we're blended.
Yeah. And I'm just curious where their head's at, how you plan to, have that continuity as you're talking about.
So for me, let's just say the 4th of July week last week, I did not have the most relaxing 4th of July. There was a lot of outreach to a lot of key members that did not know about the transaction of
like how many people could you let know?
Well, not very many, but so when it happened, and I come in wearing a PropStream hat, people are like, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
They're our enemy.
And I was like, not so much. They had to digest it. We had three all hands meetings that entire day, of like just with the BatchLeads and Dialer people. Brian was involved in that too. Just the PropStream people that Brian did, and then one collectively with introducing the teams together and kind of vision casting. But
we're married.
Saw those draws drop. Yeah.
Like,
And,
what?
it took a few days to digest. So like I've done a lot of checking in. I did, kind of like a 2 days later check in, and then with some of the key people, even the day after the 4th was that a Saturday, I believe, just letting them digest. And the more that they've digested, because the missions are similar, the cultures are similar. They were a bootstrap company too before. Like they still have a ton of those people in the business. It's just, there's a lot of synergies, like just on the culture standpoint already, to where for my sister, for example, she's like, I really feel comfortable here already in a weekend. Now there's chaos going on, and, we have to get all these things figured out of who's reporting to who and, this and that. But like from does this feel like a good fit standpoint? All I've heard is positive stuff so far. And I'm reassuring them that I'm going to be there, because I have a few employees that are going over there that were with me when I was wholesaling before Batch was even there. So like, they're just like, bruh.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Yes. And these are people that started with me at 18 that have family and kids now. And they're just kind of like, and I'm like, this is an opportunity for you to grow. Like we haven't been able to give to you these last couple of years. And that's what excited me the most, is having singular focus on batch data, and really giving that team the proper respect, because they didn't get as much time as I should have been giving them, having batch leads and dialer be such a big part of the revenue. But the growth hasn't been what it once was, and partnering with you guys and letting that opportunity come about, they have an opportunity to go be a manager now. Or, the sales guys, I'm like, you have a lot more people go call. And they're excited, and they were always battling against that other great product. We're like, you know how easy it's going to be to sell now? I'm like,
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Go make your money, guys. Like, go have fun. Like, go enjoy this moment. And the more they've been able to process it, I think the excitement's getting there. But I had to be patient, because I've had months and months and months to work through my emotions, and it's fresh for them. So just letting them get through it and supporting them has been, hugely important for me personally.
So it was really out of the blue for majority of them.
I told me I had a big announcement. It's like a strategic thing, but I didn't present it as any type. I was like, we're going to see a lot of growth. There's going to be a lot new people that we're going to be able to get in front of. I didn't lie at all. I just kind of misled to some degree, but but I couldn't say anything. But people knew that I wanted them to know that something big was coming. There's something exciting to get ready for. And I don't think they thought it was going to be, merging with our number one competitor. But after digesting it, I get it. And I wonder, I'd love to hear how your team feels
curious
about
how
it.
your team was with it.
When we did the first announcement, I saw those draws drop a little bit. We had a few people under the tent. But I think the real tone setting was that third meeting that we had with both teams combined. Because when we
just like a massive Zoom meeting?
There's a massive Zoom meeting.
Got it.
And the thing I really drove home was, and I flew out to the Batch office because
where's your office?
In Lake Forest in LA, or it's in Orange County.
That's where all your guys' employees are.
Yeah, and we're mostly remote, so we have a nice work from home culture, but we also have a lot of people that go to the office.
Got it.
So we try to do a nice, hybrid approach. But we went up to the office. I did not wear any PropStream gear, so it wasn't giving any announcement. But one of the biggest things for me was making sure that his team felt good, that I could have some face-to-face time, because that is a big transition. That's a shock for people. Like, we've had months to digest this. A couple of our key leaders have had months to digest this, but their team didn't. When we did the all-hands meeting, it was really about, we have PropStream culture, we have batch culture, and now we have a new culture. These two don't exist anymore. We're one team. And the one piece I'm really driving home is there is no two companies. They are our team. We are one team. We are one company. And the more we resonate that message, I think the more that the batch team, now PropStream team, feels at home, feels like they're with the group. We already started like day one, integrating them with the meetings, talking about our product roadmaps, our development, our marketing, our sales. And you do that day one, because if you let it linger, then they're going to feel isolated and they're going to feel alone.
Yeah.
And that's the thing what we do not want to happen. Have happen.
With your employees, Jesse, I know you guys are bootstrapped. I don't know if you were offering like stock incentives or anything like that. Like, how did it work with them on that front?
There was a few key people that had, it's called a phantom stock, but there's a few that we're able to get some nice
Benefit.
bonuses or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, they got a good bonus. That's cool. So I guess my next question is, obviously you guys are still obviously working through that process, and that's going to take time and everything else. But, from PropStream's standpoint, you have this massive title company that acquires PropStream, and now PropStream's making its own acquisitions, where I guess Batch doesn't report to Stewart, like they would report to you.
Yes, I mean, it's a hybrid. So Stewart is obviously the one that funds these transactions because we are part of Stewart.
Right.
And so it is a Stewart acquisition, but it comes under the PropStream umbrella.
Got it.
And so, their team, everything is part of the PropStream team. That way we didn't want to have two competing products.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to compete against yourself.
No.
And so that's why they're PropStream employees or PropStream team. We all report up to Stewart, which has actually been they're a great company. They're great to work for. But they have really done such a great job honoring what they bought in PropStream. They haven't tried to change our culture, change who we are, what we do. And this is something I repeated to the Batch staff. We have PropStream employees that have been there more than 10 years. So way before the acquisition, and they're still here today.
Yeah.
There was never an instance where we were like, okay, Stewart owns you, you need to change. That never happened. And so we have a lot of long-term employees that have seen both sides of the transactions, the house now with that. And I think they're all, God, I can't talk. They're helping your team as well through this because they're saying we've been here, we've had this firsthand experience, and hopefully they're saying it's not so scary. Like it's going to be okay.
Yeah. So what's your vision for PropStream, I guess, the next 5 years, right? Is it to continue? Because like the way I see it is Stewart originally acquired you guys. I mean, obviously, you guys have EBITDA and revenue and all this stuff, but one of the main reasons was front end, right? And get more potential customers for Stewart through all your front end marketing, right? Is the plan to just continue to grow PropStream and obviously you're going to keep growing, what you guys already do, and now Batch is going to support that. But is it to get more front end acquisitions to support that? Do you have any vision for that?
I think with the acquisition of Batch, we kind of have everything we need to grow. The biggest piece that we were missing was the dialer, some of the technologies that they built, the AI technologies. To me, that 5-year vision is more about creating the best application on the market and being more predictive as to where the market's going to go. We talked about this in your podcast. AI is changing the way that everybody transacts online, and more than just a buzzword, more than everybody just saying AI, and that's, they just throw it out there. It's really, how do you interact with the software? What is your expectation as a user? So when I log in and I'm looking for something, user expectation is going to change dramatically over the next 3 years. And one of the things that we're really focused on is how do we not only meet that expectation, how do we exceed it, and how do we drive the next 5 years of growth?
Mm-hmm. So integrating AI, one thing I was just thinking about when you guys were talking too was, you were saying, hey, like Batch data, use our data, it's better. As a consumer, one thing like I've just, maybe this is a blanket statement, like, oh, the data at Batch or PropStream, it's all very similar data. Why? I mean, you've been behind the scenes, so I know you can't proprietary say why it's better, but like, I don't know, why is it better? Why did they have their own data before, and they were around before you guys. So what made your data more special?
I believe I could only say so much, but that they license their data from certain people. We do too, but we aggregate in a different way, and then we repurpose it, we clean it.
So it's how you process the data.
It's how we process it. And then we have like machine learning going on behind LLM models, like some proprietary data sets, having feedback loops from first party applications like our dialer, like BatchLeads, and able to really process it and do it differently to where we get some uplifts in different areas with, let's like use, for example, AVM modeling or bed and bathroom count. We're better than, a Core Logic or a Black Knight because of how we source, how we aggregate, how we how we clean it and put it together, and all these different. It's more of an Evo question. He's the brilliant brainchild behind a lot of this, along with Omar and Gibbon and some of the other people. And then just some of the AI stuff that we're creating behind the scenes, like likelihood to sell or likelihood to buy. And that takes a lot of time, a lot of modeling. And so we're not just like some data company that's licensing from someone else and reselling it to someone like Brian. Like we're doing our own thing. We're putting our own sauce in it. And our goal is to really make sure that all of those applications in this type of space and home services, if they have, a software, we want to be that back-end partner to them that they could trust with really good contact data and also really good property data. And that's really where my focus will be these next handful of years, is making sure we continue to be innovative on that side so I could support the PropStream, application and others, similar too.
Got it. So you guys are just that much better at, once you have the data, knowing what to do with it.
Yeah, and treating it differently and just processing, aggregating, and our APIs are like very much purpose built because we built them for batch leads and for batch dialers. So we know what these customers or these software applications want, and we just build them differently because a lot of these legacy companies are just legacy companies that have data and have 10-year contracts.
They don't need to innovate.
And we're trying to innovate, disrupt, and piss them off, and eventually they'll write us a check too. So that's the plan.
Got it. So I'm just curious, like with the software company, like both of your guys's, where data is like obviously a big part of it, if not the whole part of it, really. What I've always just thought about this, but like what percentage of like your guys' revenue comes from just like the monthly subscription versus like the usage of the softwares?
They're basically bundled together.
It is, yeah.
To be honest with you. So
now it's just all the monthly.
The name of the game, and as I know you kind of have a subscription model for your coaching, is like that you don't want in-app revenue. You want it to figure out ways to make it into a subscription that someone keeps paying for month over month over month. And if they use or don't use that is on them. But it also simplifies the process of they know what they're paying for, they know what they're getting as well. So having opportunities for them to upsell and as they need to consume more, that's basically the name of the game, and you could add to that.
No, I agree. And I think the biggest piece is I would want our users to know is we don't nickel and dime for things.
Right.
Anything that's a hard cost, obviously, postcards, things like that, we charge for because you have to. But as far as the SaaS or having the monthly revenue, that's what we do. We don't track on the usage, and we want our customers to use the software. We incentivize them to use it. We try to train them and teach them. We don't want to penalize them for actually trying to do their jobs and to make a living.
Right.
And one of the messaging, which I love with Batch, is very similar, is we like to be more than just a software company. And we said this, since really, I think at the core of our mission, what we do, we're not just selling software, we are selling the ability for people to make a living. We're selling the ability for people to be entrepreneurs, to be independent, to be financially independent, financially secure. And that is always the core of what we try to develop and what we do in the application every day. And our employees know it, our customers know it, and it's the same thing with Batch. And so I think as we've come together, that's what's made this so easy.
I mean, Ryan, you do the exact same thing, just differently.
Yeah. Yeah, I've just thought about it because, you look at certain apps and it's like one model is free and then usage or ads, right? And then the other model is subscription and then basically like maybe minor upsells or minor usage or whatever.
We don't do that. So we don't charge by zip code. We don't charge by lead list.
Yeah.
We don't do any of those things. Once you have a subscription, nationwide data, lead list, create your own. Again, we want to incentivize people to learn, to grow, to be independent, to do business. Why would we penalize them for using our software?
Yeah, you have a quota of amount of leads to pull, and those are different subscriptions. For
that,
but
you just go up a new tier.
To use the platform holistically, like we and you, BatchStream as I call it.
BatchStream.
But yeah, I mean, we always had the same vision. Like we used to have a lot of add-ons and this and that, and we really at Batch Leads over those last couple of years, we really consolidated that to make it much simpler for someone to understand what they're getting, how they're getting it,
That's what we did too. It just became smarter and easier.
Exactly.
It's like, all right, go here for this, go here for that. It's like, boom, here's the cost. You
Right.
get it all.
Yeah.
I agree. So, I guess when you look at the state of this industry, and when I say this industry, let's just talk like the real estate investor industry. So flippers, wholesalers, buy and hold, all these guys. Like, what does the data actually say? Like, is this industry of people doing it growing, contracting? Because we know that there's less realtors today than there was 2 years ago. We know there's less transactions. Like, do you see that people are getting more excited about this industry? Like, what are you seeing?
I think so. I think most people are waiting for that one thing to change, and that one thing is interest rates. If we tick down like a whole point in interest rates and they get down to like the low sixes, if we were at the high fives, I think this industry would blow up. There's so much pent-up demand. There's so many people that have been holding onto their homes for longer periods of time that want to move, that need to expand, that need to grow their families. Or maybe even their house is too big and they want to contract. There's so much pent-up out there. And I think once we start to see that downshift and the downswing in interest rates, then it's going to explode. And the opportunity out is going to be, I think, almost akin to what it was 5 years ago, where deals are really going to start to flow, not because interest rates are at a historic low, but because there's so much out there, so much pent up users, people needing to move, wanting to move, that it's just, it's going to be, I would say, back to what it was in 2000.
And I know there's big REITs and funds like eager and waiting as well. So, I know there's a lot of rental properties that want to get traded, and there's a lot of apartment complexes, and a lot of things don't make sense, or people are upside down and they're just holding and waiting. So there's a ton of pent up demand. Like Jared Vidalis did a build to rent community that I invested in Mesa, and he's like, bro, we need like 0.5%, and he's like, we could make something on it now, but he's like, there's so much built up demand, but like the numbers just don't pencil out. He's like, I have a great product, it's fully leased, it's cash flowing, but I need it to cash flow more so we could get better. There's so much, and that's just a small example of a little 20 unit. Think of all, the large multifamily deals that are just stuck in limbo right now.
Yeah.
Last year, I think there was a slight downshift in interest rates for 30-year mortgage, and transactions literally for that month grew, substantially.
Yeah.
And it was a really short-lived thing because the home rates went right back up. But for that little period of time, you really saw how much is going to change with even a quarter point.
Half point. Yeah.
So,
what do you think? What are you seeing? What are your thoughts?
I think the rest of this year, we're filming right now in July of 25. I think the rest of this year's slow. I think that we'll get the half point at some point the rest of this year, hopefully this month. But
yeah,
if not this month, then, probably September or whatever. But yeah, here's why I think it's slow no matter what. It's because even if they do it now, we're going to head into the winter.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
The winter's always slow anyway. So it's like, if they don't, this is what I think. If they don't do it, then I think there's like a bloodbath in the winter.
Yep.
And if they do it, I think it's just going to normalize for the winter. So either way, my vision is that, come spring of 26, things are going to be like cranking. But I think we still have 6 to 9 months of pretty much what we see.
So it's pretty much survive in 25.
That's what I think.
I see a little different
in 23.
I see the optimism a little bit differently because I've talked with Brian and what we've seen. Just we both have large user bases, and like
that's what I'm asking. Like, what do
new
you see from the
customers
user
have
base?
ticked up for us on both sides. Both of the products he bought have ticked up a decent amount this year. I know,
and I'm currently selling more students than ever too.
So I think. We'll see transactions, but I think if interest rates go down, I think if we want to talk transactionally, I think, compared to last winter this time, or even a quarter before that, I actually think winter could beat, these summer months, to be honest with you.
I hope.
And just seeing, when they really got bad fast, I saw a decline in user base. I've seen that the last 9 months, a little bit more confidence, a little bit more confidence, a little bit more confidence. And I think if interest rates drop, and I think transactions will happen. And then I think that will snowball into more people wanting to get into it because there's more people being successful. So I'm a little more bullish than I think you are, but I'm not certain. But from the trends that I've seen inside my own data and internal stuff that I'm looking at, it looks more optimistic than pessimistic. And if we do get that half point or full point, I think that will kind of be the catalyst.
Well, you said something too that I always really drive home, and what I tell our employees as well. Interest rates, it's always a good metric, but consumer confidence to me is the most important thing that you could look at. Interest rates go up and down. The stock market goes up and down, but how does a user feel? How confident are they to take on a transaction, to move, to take on a mortgage, to invest in a property, to wholesale? That consumer confidence to me drives everything. And if people are feeling more confident because of the state of the economy as a whole, then you'll really start to see that shift. And I agree with you. I think there's going to be more confidence coming, and hopefully we get to see more normalization by the end of the year.
But to Ryan's point, I think it could take a little bit of time for that really to shift into a bunch more transactions being done. But I would say
Next
for
year.
us as business owners, I could see it being very good for us because if confidence is good and it's starting to snowball, we're just going to see people spending more, doing more, ramping up their marketing.
And the message needs to be, hey, it's already turning. You got to get started now.
So for all three of us, let's say it's already turning. Let's get started now.
Well, but it hasn't turned yet. So, but I do think.
But you want to be ahead of the game. You don't want to be behind.
No, for sure. I agree. Like for me, I just think obviously we all sell real estate products for wholesale and flipping and stuff like that. But being like on social media, I get to talk to a lot of business owners, especially with just like our different workshops and things that are just general business. Mm-hmm. And it's just like the weirdest market ever because on one hand, all the signs of like, growth are still there. It's like, oh, stocks are at like all-time highs and housing prices are at all-time highs. And, the richest of the rich are getting richer, Elon's net worth and all these things are like rising at rates we've never seen. And so you see like, and I talk to a lot of my rich friends too. They're like, bro, I'm doing better than ever. My stocks are killing it. All these things are killing it. And then I talk to the small business owner and they're getting killed. And I'm like, dude, like, any small business, whether you're a small realtor or a small, flower shop or like people are just not spending money the way they used to spend money. And so it's like when I'm feeling out what I think, I'm listening to like the general public versus like the big shots because the big shots are killing it right now. They really are.
I could say the same thing because some of the big investors are doing better than ever.
They're killing it.
I think because they're so much better than and have so much. They're not scared to spend because the processes and the sales team and everything's so dialed in. But some of my friends that have the 2-man teams, the 3-man teams,
they're struggling.
That's funny because I was like, what are you talking about? All these guys are doing good. Like, what's your problem? Like, you're just not good enough. Like, get better.
Yeah.
But that does. It's the people that are willing to spend the money right now are reaping the rewards, and the people that are scared because it hasn't been great, they're retracting even further because they're not spending the marketing dollars like they should, or their systems and SOPs just aren't buttoned up to be able to maximize, the leads that you're getting.
Well, I also think that it's just a talent issue too.
Agreed.
That when things are harder, you have to be more talented.
That's
you
true.
can't just flip it to a hedge fund and call 200 people and you're in. Like it takes a lot more talent to close a deal right now than it did 3 years ago. So I think you have a talent issue.
That's a good point.
I also think that this is how I see it personally. I think this is like a transition year, very much like COVID, where it's like a year of flux where people don't really know how it's going to play out. And so there's people making big bets and big moves who are going to reap a lot of rewards in 26 and 27. And then there's people who are like getting destroyed. Mm. And like, that's what COVID showed us. It's like lots of people
That's true.
lost their jobs, got destroyed. Lots of people went to the moon.
It's true.
There was very few people that it was just like
kind of good.
Whatever for.
It created more disparity. And
that's what I see. That's kind of the point I'm getting at. I think disparity is going to keep growing further and further.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think aside from like you said, like it's talent, it's that perseverance and dedication that you are not going to be able to jump in like it was years ago and have a deal spoon-fed to you or just they're coming from the sky. That's not what's going to be happening.
No.
You need to, have a little bit more grit and the wherewithal to say, I need to go farm these deals. I need to go look. I need to make these phone calls. And you might call 10, 20, 100 people, but you're looking for that one deal.
Right.
And once you get that one deal, then you learn, okay, this is how I did this. And how could you recreate the formula? And how could you keep trying to persevere through a hard market? And if you could do that now,
Yeah.
when the market turns around, you're going to kill it.
How have both of you guys, being software companies, kind of handled new customer acquisition? Because it's an interesting thing I've thought about selling like leads and software now too. It's like if you're providing strictly just the tools, they don't know how to use them. And so like, how do you go about finding new customers while also training them to have grit and make the calls and say the right things? Because then at that point, you're like almost an education company as well. And like, that was kind of the realization I had was like, man, dude, I could give them the best leads in the world, but if they don't know how to talk to sellers, like it doesn't matter.
Right.
And so it becomes like they're both needed, education and tools.
So I would say, having great affiliates that use your product and train, the people that they're bringing in on your product. And I know we've done this to a small degree. You guys have done it to a great degree. They have a lot of courses inside their platform to show them how to get deals, to show them how to use the software, to show them how to do all the things. And it's an education company to some degree. We just don't charge for it. That's built into the subscription to get access for those things. I think at one point or Batch, I don't even know if we had a paywall for some of our, courses that we had. I'm pretty sure you didn't even have to have a subscription to go to them to have it. And I think we may have had some for both sides for funnels and so on and so forth. But yeah, to your point is, we could have the best software in the world if they don't do anything with it or know how to use it or don't know how to talk to a seller properly. There's only so much we could do. You probably have a little bit more of an advantage being running, still a wholesale operation and giving them leads and helping them with some of those things. So that's an interesting question. I don't know if you have more to add.
No, I think coaching is important. But the education piece, I've said the same thing. You can have the best tool in the world. If your users don't know how to use it, it doesn't mean anything. Right. And I know at PropStream, that has been something we've really focused on is that education piece. We have the PropStream Academy. We actually hired teachers, lesson planners, people that know how to do this, and they create full learning lessons to walk you through it. And we have multiple formats. We have short form, where you could try to learn something in more consumable pieces. And then we have the full learning lessons, which maybe is 30 minutes or an hour, where you could actually learn how do you do your job and many different pieces. What's the best way to wholesale? What's the best way to do fix and flip? What's the best way to use the software to find what you need? Right. And so we've really kind of doubled down on user education.
You've done that for a long time
we
too.
Have.
With even, I remember, I was like, damn it, like we don't have that.
Yeah, they got a lot of stuff going on.
And that was like 4 or 5 years ago. And so we did some stuff, but we also, and they have, and we had, a ton of affiliates and we would do challenges, and it's so important to make sure that people are truly understanding the functionality, and then, having those right partners that are showcasing your product and getting on the phone calls and showing people how to actually get the deals done. I mean, to your point, that's a huge, crucial part of not getting them there, but keeping them there.
Yeah.
And that's why I think coaches are so important too. Where
100%.
Having your affiliates and your partners and the coaching base, like what you do, is where, we could partner with those people and provide those resources, because nothing beats a one-to-one interaction. Nothing beats being able to ask questions to a live person. And so we really try to support that community through, and that's another reason we did the Academy, is not just for our users, but for our partners, our affiliates, and the coaches. Use this. Go learn. You could take this model and teach your students.
Yeah.
So what's been, for both of you guys, like the number one way to acquire customers these days?
I would say paid.
Paid search?
Paid search,
Just
paid ads. PPC, Google and YouTube, I think are the biggest and best too. I don't know what you're able to disclose or not.
So you guys are just running ads saying, hey, you're looking for skip tracing help, you're looking for off-market sellers.
Not quite. You're telling more of not really. That's feature dumping. You're more telling a story. Do you want your life to change? Like, this product could help you do that. And having some of our affiliates do ads. I'm saying, hey,
So it'd be similar to how we get customers too. Like, hey, you should start wholesaling, and here's the tool.
exactly. So here's what we have.
Got
We
it.
have this, or we have a lot of different ads. We will have funnels go straight to like our free course. Like, hey, are you a realtor or an investor and want to learn more about getting your first deal? Go here, and then Batch is baked into that. It's not always saying, hey, here's great features, go do this. That's not necessarily the case. Like, you're not going to say the great features that you have for coaching. You're going to say, do you want to change your life? I'm here to help you do that.
Right.
Still the same type of marketing. We're just selling, software. But as Brian said too, we're doing so much more than just here's a software tool.
Yeah. You have to train them to use it. And all
Exactly.
those things.
Yes. We all have features. I mean, that's when I agree. When you start just only focusing on the feature, it's just going to be one company to the next to the next.
Exactly.
Because we all have the same. But I think the story is what matters. Do you want to change your life? Do you want to be financially independent? What vision are we selling? And this lifestyle, and teaching people that method. Of course, features are great, and you always want to be, looking at what people are doing and providing the best tools and features to your users. But when you're doing that marketing, I know you talked about the Google and the YouTube. Mm-hmm. We have a multi-funnel approach.
Same.
We have a lot of direct SEO marketing, and we have our affiliate sales space. And so we really try to encompass all of our customers, whether they come from our affiliates, supporting our coaches, or our direct customers. We have like many different methods that we market through.
Got it. For me, like I understand the affiliate method because it's like a controlled cost. Like as they come in, like for sure it's going to be good. With paid, I'm just curious because, we're just seeing rising marketing costs.
Mm-hmm.
Like customer acquisition cost is increasing across the board, and so like if we're talking about trying to acquire the same customer, like I know our acquisition cost is thousands of dollars to get somebody to buy one of ours.
Yeah.
And things we're selling are $1,000 a month minimum.
Yeah, so yours is a little bit more expensive.
Yeah.
Different customer acquisition costs.
But I'm just curious, like for you guys with, what's the average monthly subscription? Like $100 to $200 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like, how do you acquire customers without going so deep in the hole?
Well, at the end of the day, you look at the lifetime value
Right.
of your whole customer base, and then you have to figure out a way. What does it cost me? And
how many months am I willing to wait?
Yep, and that's it, and and then really getting better at expanding the customers that you do have, because like you could roll out a new feature, and having tens of thousands of customers, like you just got a bunch more money every month. So it's like keeping it, growing it, but I'd say it needs to be a reasonable dollar amount for what our first month costs, but I think that's just having, as Brian said, he gave a much more sophisticated answer. I gave you the simple answer, but he's not right. You're having a full omni-channel approach of how you're doing this, because some cost more than others, and once it gets blended, I know we had a number that made sense to where we could have continued to spend more to acquire more customers, and it still makes sense. And I feel like they've done an even better job than we have at that. And from what he's told me, stuff I can't share, but they have some secret sauce that's real good.
I want to hear about it.
Well, the other thing too is when you talk about customers and keeping them, and so that the lifetime value, it's also, to me, it's customer service.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very small market. I mean, for as big as real estate is, it's a small community. It's a tight-knit community. Word of mouth matters.
How big do you think the TAM is?
I wouldn't venture a guess at the moment.
Okay.
We always get this. I'm saying active people that are like doing the business at least a little part-time right now, I'd say between 100 and 200,000 people would be my guess.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well, it's a little bit different for me because to me, my TAM is like 20 million people because there's 20 million people that are interested in real estate or making money. And so the way that we attract people top of funnel is like, I'm introducing this idea of wholesaling and flipping
Right.
amongst many other ideas that they're interested in.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they make that choice. So like, that's why I was curious how you guys market, because it's like, you're already going after the 200,000 wholesalers that currently exist.
Yeah, your funnel is a little bit wider because it's someone saying, I
just want to make money.
Yeah.
That's my funnel.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's hard to venture guess. It depends on the market. If you're targeting realtors,
That's like $1 million.
it's a 1 to 1.5 million
Yep.
active. If you're targeting people that want to get into this business, well, look at the demographics. If are you over 18, between 18 and 50, and look at and that's the thing, that secret sauce. Look, what are you focusing on? People searching, what are they looking for? Are they looking for that financial wealth, that independence?
They don't even know what wholesaling is yet.
Right.
Yeah, I was just talking
it's
about
the search.
actual wholesalers, or people actively doing it.
Yeah. So like total marketability, like it's tens of millions of people.
Yeah. So that's how you guys perceive it too. You're not
Yeah.
just targeting flippers and wholesalers.
No.
You're like, hey, everyone's a candidate, essentially,
Right.
who wants to make money.
It is, and so we really focus on those keywords and what people are looking for. How do I invest into real estate? And those are the things that we look at to make sure that PropStream is always recognized brand, and we have that brand equity. And we look at a lot of that. Again, that's the secret sauce. Might want to cut that out. But it's really that lifestyle search.
Yeah.
And we try to focus not on just Jesse said, the features, but also what is somebody looking for in general.
Yeah. And I don't even think it's that, I guess, secret in that it's like you just look at any form of marketing today, you're always selling the result, not the process or the feature. It's like, oh, dude, like, I want to be like Ryan. He gets to hang out with his family and go on vacations and, play golf. And like, how did he do it? It's like, oh, well, here's how.
Yeah, you had a great video the other day of, I think you put it out a couple days ago, but it was about, talking about having all the things that you love to do. And you're like, I don't have to be super passionate about all the work things I do because it serves me to get the things that I really love to do.
Yeah.
You're like, I won't do something I don't like anymore. But like, am I super excited with all the prep work that goes into this event? You're like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not. But what it gives me outweighs that to some degree. And I think people think that once you get all this money, or like I've had a million people, what are you going to do? I'm like, still have another business to grow.
Yeah.
I still have a deep passion to continue to, build what I'm building. That will never change. Like I can't only have hobbies, you know what I mean? I have to have, that purpose.
I tell people that it just cracks me up because we're talking about calling sellers. But I'm like, how many of you guys like cold calling? It's like no one. I'm like, all right, I get it. Freaking, I don't either. Nobody wants to cold call. Like if you do, you're crazy.
Yeah.
But how many of you like making 20 grand on a deal?
Hands up.
So guess what? Like, do you want to put in the work or not? How many of you guys want a 6-pack? Well, be like Jesse and eat a salad for dinner. If you don't want to do that, then you ain't gonna get one. Like
it's
is
all
what it
sacrifice and discipline. What are you willing to sacrifice, and what type of discipline are you willing to have? But I think when you do these things and power through, because like nothing is like, I don't love practicing golf every freaking day.
Yeah.
And there's certain things that aren't fun practicing, but when you get on the course and you could execute that shot that you haven't executed before.
That's why I don't practice. I just play.
Play a lot. But you have good coaches, and I mean, you put the work in.
Yeah, I'll
as
get
well,
mentors and
all
stuff.
that stuff. But it's just like, we each all of us each have an expensive watch on right now. There's all of them tell the same time, so there's the feature. But what feeling does it give you?
Yeah.
Why does it give it to you? And that's, I think,
Why did you buy that watch? You got paid and that was your first purchase.
I think that was my fault.
that was actually a little bit to do with him. I was like, I like these strap watches, and he's like, well, why don't we get you one? And got a little Batch Blue on it, and this is just the one I liked, and I wanted something different to the collection. It literally was super impulsive. It was the night before we're selling, and we're sitting at the house prepping for all the stuff we had to do the next day, and
Yeah.
he had the Patek Philippe on with a cool band. I'm like, oh, I want one of these.
Good job, Brian.
No, I love it.
When he said we became friends, like literally, we would just sit there and BS for a couple hours.
So Brian's a watch guy.
He
How many
is.
watches do you have?
9.
Dang, dude. That's a lot of watches.
Oh, I only have 4.
What's your favorite?
Between my IWC, the Spitfire and the chronographs, and my Patek.
What kind of Patek is it?
It's a Aquanaut travel time.
I'll have to look it up. Oh, you know
Yeah.
what? I actually do think I know what that's like a rubber strap, right?
Yeah.
I do know which one that is. It's like very sleek.
And there's ones that have Longines Master Collection, that complete calendar. I mean, does everything. And so I think even the value of a watch, it doesn't have to be crazy expensive. If you just really like it.
So is
then
that
that's
why
great.
you're the CEO of PropStream, just to fill your watch? Is that your purpose?
You got it.
Yeah, I figured. Jesse's is to play more golf and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, me and you have very similar hobbies. It's golf, it's family.
Yeah.
I'm excited to have a little smaller team, so I feel like I'll be able to travel a little bit more without as many distractions. Maybe not the next couple months, but
Yeah.
in the future, and that's some of the stuff that I'm very much so looking forward to.
Yeah. Well, I think it's awesome. I just, for me, I've known you now for, I don't even know how long.
6, 7, 8 years. It's
Yeah,
been a while.
long time. And so to see, you come up all these years around the same time and now have a big exit, it inspires me and encourages me of like, okay, dude, it's time to level up and do the next thing. And then, to meet you guys and see what you're doing. And I'm like, all right, well, freaking maybe I'll be like Jesse and I'll sell to PropStream one day. And, we'll be back here whenever. I'll be like, all right, so why did we do this?
Let's have a conversation, Ryan.
Yeah. So, but no, it just really does bring me like inspiration for like what you've been able to do. And it's also going to be cool to see the next steps, because it's like also cool to see, like, you called me when it happened and I'm like, bro, because I invited you to a golf trip. And I was like, bro, you got to come to Paynes Valley. We're doing this golf trip. It's going to be sick. He's like, dude, I have like a really big meeting Monday. He didn't say what.
I said a really big product launch is what I told you, basically. But he's like, I got you. I'll pay. Like, come.
Yeah, I was like,
He was so mad at me. I'm like, I was like, it's really big. He's like, this trip's going to be epic. It's not big enough. And I kept telling him no, and I felt so bad.
I'm a hard sales guy too.
When he wants something, or he's like, I want to whoop your ass. Like, I've worked really hard to be good at golf.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's going to have to wait just a little bit longer. But I felt so bad. He was like one of my first phone calls, because he's been so nice and eager to like do some stuff together.
Amazing.
And I know how busy you are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Ryan probably never gets blown off. And I said no to like 3 things in a row, because it was all around this time. I'm like, Ryan, this is what happened. You're like, okay, I get it now.
It's all good. I'll just have to whoop you another day.
Soon.
But no, it's just cool to see. And then I just love hearing the behind the scenes of how it happens, because it just makes me smarter of like, okay, like why would a strategic partner be interested in their top competitor? And
we were planning to go to market later this year, and
right.
we weren't on the market. So like, I want to make that clear too. It's like, when we talked and the alignment that we had and what it meant, I wasn't willing to risk, like, I knew the team that's going over, how they're going to be treated and what it's going to look like. It was worth me not going that route, because me and Evo talked about what made sense for us, financially and for both of the businesses, and being a partner to you guys as well on the other side, and you guys supporting us there to some degree. That meant a lot to me too. And the friendship that we've created is probably.
Did you have to use a broker since you kind of found the buyer?
Yes.
Okay.
We were already with someone. We'd already signed with
Yeah.
someone. So talk about we're able to renegotiate that a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, dude, I already have the guy.
But they were fantastic, but they kind of, I don't think we're used to taking a back seat. Me and you kind of ran this deal with a gentleman over at Stewart as well, and he does not like investment bankers whatsoever.
He just wants to spit on his hand and
and
do a shake.
He's a person of his word.
Yeah.
I mean, when he says this is what we're going to do, he sticks to it.
I am like above the moon, because I really feel like you guys got to win. We got to win. And I've heard nightmare stories going through transactions and people absolutely just fighting those last minutes. Yes.
And all these things.
Like, there was moments, but like in retrospect, they were all little things, and people were getting huffy and puffy over stuff that 10 days later doesn't matter all that much. We got it done, but I feel very blessed to, put this together with you, because it doesn't always happen this way. And I got like a friend and someone that I look up to as well, and he's taught me a lot already. So I'm just excited, me and you were just always eager to learn and want to be around dope people, and he's one of them.
Dope.
Thank you.
So as we wrap up, Brian, what's the future for PropStream? What are the next steps?
There's a lot of steps. I really say the future is our commitment to our product, to our customers, to making something I think the industry hasn't seen. which is again that all-in-one solution. How do we make our customers' lives easier? How do we make them more successful? And how do we give them the tools to succeed?
Yeah.
And I think that's really our core focus.
Awesome. Well, guys, appreciate you both. We will link to all your guys' stuff down below. You know, Jesse's going to be posting more on YouTube, he told me.
Yep, new YouTube channel. Just
So-
look up my first and last name.
He's going to be doing podcasts and stuff with other tech founders. And
Got you on there.
yep.
Coming
So
soon.
We'll be linking to those things. And then obviously PropStream, you know, link to that. And, you know, it's going to be cool to see what you guys accomplish. So appreciate you guys sharing and opening up. And guys, make sure you subscribe. Peace.